And welcome back, and we're going on to number 6, the number 6 greatest Super Bowl of all time. Super Bowl 34, the St. Louis Rams versus the Tennessee Titans. This Super Bowl was a Cinderella story for both teams. It was going to guarantee that one of these two teams would win their very first Super Bowl. Both of these teams were considered underdog teams. The St. Louis Rams because their main quarterback got injured during the preseason and they had to rely on Kurt Warner, who was an undrafted quarterback, and people were saying, how on earth are we going to win with Kurt Warner? Well, it turned out that Kurt Warner played spectacular throughout the season, and it helped get the St. Louis Rams to the playoffs. As for the Tennessee Titans, they were a franchise who many people said they're never going to win the big one. I mean, prior they were known as the Houston Oilers, but when they came to Tennessee and they renamed themselves the Titans, all of a sudden they became a great team again. And this Super Bowl was not without controversy. That is to say, both of these teams didn't get to the Super Bowl without controversy. For the Tennessee Titans, you had the Music City Miracle game against the Buffalo Bills, in which many Bills fans to this day still say it was a forward pass and not a backwards pass, despite the fact that there is an overhead view that shows that it was a backwards pass. As for the St. Louis Rams, you had that NFC Championship game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the Burt Emanuel catch, where the rule at the time said that if the ball hit the ground, regardless of whether or not the receiver had control, it was still considered an incomplete pass. So basically, both of these teams went in and with some controversy, but nevertheless, they still went in. One of these two teams was going to win their first Super Bowl guaranteed. It was either going to be Kurt Warner and the St. Louis Rams or Steve Air McNair and the Tennessee Titans. Two other people that were taken into consideration for this Super Bowl were the head coaches. You had Jeff Fisher of the Tennessee Titans and Dick Vermeil of the St. Louis Rams. And both of these coaches wanted to win their first Super Bowl as a head coach. For the first half of the game, it was pretty much all St. Louis Rams. The Rams were the more dominant team in the first half. The Tennessee Titans, they started coming back in the second half. And basically during the fourth quarter, the Tennessee Titans had one final possession. They had to score a touchdown in order to tie the game and to send the Super Bowl into overtime. There has never been a Super Bowl that went into overtime. So the Tennessee Titans, they managed to get down to, I believe, was the 10-yard line or somewhere around there. They were in the red zone, I know that much. They called a timeout. They had 6 seconds remaining in the game. They knew they couldn't risk running the ball. They had to try a short pass and run it into the end zone because that was their best bet. So Steve Air McNair takes the snap, throws it to Kevin Dyson. Looks like he's going to get in 1 yard short. That's right, he was tackled and he landed 1 yard short of the goal line. Time ran out. There was no possibility for running another play. You know, it was physically and mathematically impossible to get to the line of scrimmage and run another play. Time ran out. The St. Louis Rams won their very first Super Bowl. Now, after this Super Bowl, the St. Louis Rams, they did get back to the Super Bowl 2 years later against the New England Patriots, in which the game ended on a field goal. You know, the game was tied up. The New England Patriots got into field goal range. Adam Vinatieri scored the winning field goal. And that was the last time the St. Louis Rams were ever in the Super Bowl. As for the Tennessee Titans, they have made it to the playoffs a few times after this Super Bowl. But as of recently, you know, in the past few seasons, they just haven't been showing that they're a playoff team. I mean, yeah, earlier this season it looked like, wow, the Titans might actually win, but there started to be a lot of things going wrong for the Tennessee Titans. I mean, Vince Young being injured and, having that dispute with Jeff Fisher. Randy Moss has not proven to be a good wide receiver for the team. Yeah, the Titans have been having problems recently, and it's hard to say what exactly the problem is. So, the Titans, I don't believe they're going to make it to the playoffs this season. The St. Louis Rams, however, it looks like they might make it. It's either going to be them or the Seattle Seahawks. It's very hard to tell. They do have the same record. They're both 6-6, but one of those teams is going to make it to the playoffs. If it's the St. Louis Rams, then we'd have another rookie quarterback getting to the playoffs in his first season in the NFL, Sam Bradford. And Bradford, he's been playing good, but then again, who knows what will happen. So that was number 6. Stay tuned for the other 5.